In a first, the governor of the Central Bank of Russia, Elvira Nabiullina, has made a controversial sideswipe at Putin's costly obsession with destroying Ukraine, making it clear that the country can no longer afford to fund war. Desperate to balance the new 7,000-page budget for 2025, Nabiullina has been faced with the impossible task of controlling inflation. With the economy heading for hyperinflation, putting up interest rates is still her only tool. That obviously hasn't been enough though, as interest rates are about to increase again for the 7th time this year. And in a strange quirk, as soon as the date is announced, Russians make haste to banks and loan sharks to borrow and spend as fast as they can. They rush to beat the rate rise, believing that inflation will negate future interest. Clearly, there is a huge rift between the central bank governor and a furiously disappointed Putin. And despite her early support for Putin and his illegal invasion of Ukraine, making her complicit as a war criminal and international pariah, her days in the hot seat seem likely to be numbered. Putin's unrealistic demands to bring down inflation whilst expanding the war economy by a prospective 25% is unlikely achievable by any economist, even if they had won a Nobel Prize. The figures just don't balance. But being a dictator, he thinks he's infallible and just like a toddler, entitled to whatever he demands. Despite the planned increase in the military budget to 13 trillion rubles, the sum is still not enough according to former Duma member Vladimir Milov. He states that to make progress in the war, Russia would need to spend 20 trillion rubles. According to RE Russia, up to 1.8 trillion rubles are paid monthly to military personnel alone in signing up bonuses, wages, compensation for injury, and to compensate families for the thousands of additional dead each week. Every day, hugely expensive aircraft, ships, tanks, and missiles are destroyed. The war certainly looks unsustainable for much longer at this rate. Since the illegal invasion started, the Treasury has been supplementing the economy with Putin's so-called war chest, also known as the Sovereign Wealth Fund. But that is fast depleting, and many members of the Duma argue against dipping into it further, fearing the catastrophic oil price fall that is coming. Borrowing would usually be another option, but Russia has been shunned by the international market. A recent auction of bonds at 17% interest was a failure. Paying the interest on existing bonds is also an unaffordable activity. It is very likely that the increasing war costs must be funded by taxation and by not increasing benefits such as pensions, making ordinary Russians poorer than ever. Never mind, State Duma member and anti-LGBT fanatic Vitaly Milonov suggests rummaging in dustbins and trash for clothes. He really does. A dire shortage of workers countrywide is stymieing production and services are falling apart. Shockingly, Moscow police are currently short of 75% of officers, but it is claimed that the government cannot afford to increase wages to attract personnel. Yet Russian men who could be productive in the economy are tossed like logs on a fire to fight on the front line in Ukraine. Can you believe that there are people in America and Europe who still believe Putin is a master strategist? Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.